What is the most embarrassing reason you've had to pause during intimacy? 2006. Was super drunk and also really into Tetris DS at the time. Hooked up with the girl on floor of a bathroom and the tiles were all in the shape of Tetris blocks. Okay, this takes the cake for me. How does something like that even happen, XD? You should have just imagined the music and used the increasing tempo to finish. The Tetris effect, or Tetris syndrome, is a psychological phenomenon where dedicating substantial time and focus to an activity causes it to infiltrate your thoughts, mental imagery, and dreams. People frequently report seeing falling blocks when they close their eyes or dreaming of them when trying to sleep. Damn, that's pretty crazy. R. 3-sentence horror. 3-sentence. Babies outgrow shoes faster than they can wear them sometimes. I did this, it also popped, I screamed. My dick was purple for 3 weeks. Thanks, babe. My first instinct was to say, what are they gonna do, put a cast on it? But apparently there are things they can do to reduce the chance of permanent damage, and you really should go straight to the hospital. The idea is to see a specialist who knows what to do, especially when it comes to your dick. How can you ever put that off and just ignore it? Crazy self-sabotage. I couldn't imagine breaking my penis and then opting for the home recovery route. Fucking wild. Can confirm. A break, an internal rupture happened and it filled with blood. Needed an emergency surgery and then another surgery 7 months later. Pissing was beyond excruciating. I had to have a good sense of humor about it though. What is it about dicks and balls getting hurt that even if I read or see someone else getting hurt, I physically have a weird feeling in my stomach, like it almost happened to me or something? My voice assistant loudly chiming in with, "I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that." I had assistant software on my PC back on the early 2000s that would occasionally say something funny or encouraging. Once while my GF and I were getting busy, it decided to say, "You're doing a great job." We had to stop because we were laughing so hard. We were doing it on a pull-out bed. Well, we thought since it was brand new, we were good. Apparently I bent out something, and one moment we're having fun. Next moment the couch bed was eating us. I had a similar experience with a blow-up mattress. I had just trimmed my toenails and didn't file them. I must have kicked hard enough to tear through, so the bed started slowly deflating. Threw out my back, about 5 minutes in. TBF, I'd helped her move furniture that day. Complete lower back spasm. Coitus interruptus shut down us. Spent the next 2 days on her living room floor, legs up on the heavy sofa couch. I'd moved up 4 flights, no elevator. I've been there. Pulled my hamstring earlier in the day, playing soccer. Thought I could play through the pain that evening. I was wrong. The person in the next hotel room banged on the wall. We stopped to laugh. Maybe he was banging, 'cause you guys weren't loud enough, and he was whacking it. It was me. I was the wall banger. This is 100% true. They laughed, I cried, they started again, I came. Okay, related story. Was in a hotel with my ex. She was not a quiet lover. That particular session was more intense than usual. A knock came at the door shortly after. I cracked the door open, in nothing but a towel. The guy on the other side informed me, even if I was blind, I still would have seen a good show. He gave me a thumbs up, a smirk, and walked away. A hilarious and proud moment that I still take with me. I've had this happen before we started again, and the guy next door shouted, "Round dog to fight!" I fucking lost it. Our cat attacked my foot. I reflexively kicked her and she hit the wall. I was inconsolable after. Cat was fine and we still have her. She'll be 10 in September. I went to bed very late. I was scratching my scrotum under the covers, legs apart, about to fall asleep. Our cat thought I was playing and pounced with gusto into my family jewels. I yelled and shoved the covers, cat shrieked, dog barked, sleeping wife wailed, kids woke up crying, and somehow it was all my fault. Had a good laugh the next day. I often played with dog or cat with hand under the comforter on the couch, making scratching noises. So I kinda asked for it. This is exactly why I am careful about what habits I teach my cat. Whoops! I had a kitten who swatted my guy's dangling balls once in missionary. Cat was only 4-ish months at the time. Thankfully, she didn't get that far along. I was in her house, her cat jumped on the bed and just stared at us. Wouldn't leave, full eye contact the whole time, Mood, can't compete with that judgment. My aunt was coming down the steps and her cat walked under her foot as she stepped off the bottom step. She stepped on it and it turned and clawed her foot. 4 days later, the scratches were red and swollen. She was in the hospital the next day and was there for a week with cat scratch fever. Instant headache that felt like a railroad spike was driven into my head. I thought I was having a stroke. Coital cephalalgia. I've had it recently and it's scary as hell. Supposedly benign, but I swear my brain was about to pop. They say it usually clears up on its own after a couple weeks or months. Holy shit, I had this once before and didn't know it was a thing. I was enjoying a little me time while home alone in high school, and the headache hit so sudden and hard, I had to lay down on the floor to avoid from passing out. I thought for sure my parents were going to come home and find me dead with my dick hanging out. I was cutting peppers in the kitchen making her a meal. I didn't wash my hands properly before things got heated. The burn arrived during slowly, then all at once. It was not pleasant. A cop friend of mine had a similar situation with pepper spray. When he got home, he said he tossed his kit down and it landed on something and punctured the pepper spray, getting it everywhere in the garage. He had to do a full cleanup and wash everything, but somehow I guess it still stuck on him somewhere. He didn't know it was an issue till he reached down to pull himself out for his loving wife to access, and I guess the small amount that was somewhere got right on the head of his dick, and he bolted. He was telling us this at hockey, so we were all howling by this point, and someone asked, "Did you take it stoically like a proper man?" His answer, "Fuck no." I ran out of there yelling, "My dick's on fire." My dick's on fire? Oh fuck, my balls too. My balls too. He had to stay in the shower for a while before the pain eventually went away. Rubbing alcohol could make it worse though, especially if the skin is already inflamed from the pepper spray. If you're worried about cutting the oils, wash with Dawn dish soap. Plain yogurt, I've had to apply it to my hands before. It works. I burned her pussy the way you fall asleep, slowly, then all at once. John Green, author The Fault in Our Stars. Had a similar thing happen to me after my wife had been eating peppers. The first time my partner and I went a little harder, she had the look of shock on her face and told me that she'd subluxed her hip. We're both in that field of healthcare, and she has had a history of hypermobility. I stopped, of course, gently gave a little traction to nestle it back in place, and went to roll off and maybe think about what we need to do about it. You have unfinished business. We've been together for 13 years. We once broke the bed. It wasn't embarrassing. We laughed really hard and then finished on top of rubble. The embarrassing part was asking a handyman to repair it, as we didn't have the money to buy a new one. My parents took my wife, then finance in, from an abusive house, while we were looking to buy our own place. We broke the bed. That was an interesting thing to tell my parents. English is not my first language, and hence it took me a while to understand this comment. For a second I was like, what in the Alabama? We did this during a fivesome once. The image of 5 people attempting to remove the broken frame from under the bed, while all naked, will live in my head rent-free forever. Teamwork did make the dream work, though. The mattress was on the floor, and we were back at it in no time. Lesson learned, don't attempt fivesomes on a standard metal bed frame. Nah, a thruple and a couple. I do love the word rover, though. I started farting uncontrollably, and it started uncontrollable laughs by both of us. I'm sobbing and wheezing on the toilet, trying not to wake my spouse up from imagining this. Pray I don't start making a rhythm, too. When I was a senior in high school, I had my freshman little sister walk in while I was balls deep in my girlfriend. My sister exited just as fast as she walked in, but it absolutely killed my girlfriend's mood. Killed the whole evening, too, as she was so embarrassed, she wanted to be immediately taken home. Took some time after that before we got busy again. Similar to us, except we were both young adults. I was 20, my girlfriend was 19. Halloween, Mom and Dad took my younger brother and sister out trick-or-treating. We got busy after they left. I don't know what happened, but my sister came home alone and caught us. That was 13 years ago. That girlfriend is now my wife of 8 years, and my sister and my wife are pretty close, so I guess it worked out. Horrible at the time, though. Similar, I was living at home while going to community college. She was moved out living in a dorm without much privacy, and it was semi-long distance. So any time spent together turned into sexy time pretty quickly. My mom came down to check on the backyard, something, to this day, I don't know if she does regularly, and started up a conversation while I was balls deep. Killed the mood, at least until she finished me off in the car as I drove her back to her parents' place.